All right, I'm gonna call the Clean Energy Development Board of the City of St. Louis to order. And I guess we need a roll call.
Okay, Director Colton,
Here.
Director Richardson,
Present.
and Chair Andrews.
Present. So the first thing on the agenda is the approval of the June 14th and August 9th quarterly board meetings. These are from 2023 and the minutes were in our packet. I'd love to accept a motion to approve these. All right, well, I will move that we approve them and I will ask for a second.
A second.
Great. Any questions or discussion on those? All right, hearing none, we can take a vote to approve these minutes.
Director Colton,
Aye.
Director Richardson,
Aye.
and Chair Andrews.
Aye. All right, thanks everyone. Next on the agenda is the resolution number 24 CEDB 01. This is to approve and authorize an accounting services agreement with Crossroads Accounting dated 12/13/2023. Is there any background information on this that we need to present?
I can just start real quick. So in general, the accounting services is just related to the financial aspects of part of the responsibilities for the administrator for covering the requirements of the program for the board. And as such, MEI went and needed to acquire and enter into a subcontract with a new accounting firm for these services. And as per the agreement that we have, any additional changes to any subcontracts or new subcontracts need to go before the board for approval. So I will pass it off to MEI if they have any further background they would like to explore, maybe give a little background with this company, Crossroads Accounting, etc. Anything of that nature for the board.
Certainly. Thank you, Peter. So as you all recall, we have had bookkeeping issues and we submitted an RFP mid last year to about 24 different accounting firms. I chose Crossroad Accounting and Tax, who is based in Wentzville, which is different than our last consultant, which was a national company. So far, we've been working with them on the MEI side. They have been very responsive and effective, and believe that they will be able to deliver everything that this board is looking for as part of MEI's contract with you.
For that background, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
How about some discussion? I have a question. So
I was gonna take the motion first and then open it for discussion.
all right, that's fine.
We can, I suggest you have the discussion first and
Okay.
then you open it.
Okay, yeah, Sid, go ahead.
So I just have a question. So all these transactions between MEI and this new firm, they're all arm's length transactions. There's no conflict of interest anywhere.
What? No. This company is a member of the Missouri Association of Accountants, which is where, and tax professionals, which is where I found, in addition to other recommendations from other folks who were either too busy or wouldn't focus on our area, I found the people that organizations that we requested an RFP from. So outside of that process, no, there, as far as, I mean, if you have a specific question outside of any conflicts, there wasn't any in our initial conversations or checks with them.
Okay, no, that was my entire question. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, well, let's entertain that motion for approval then. Aye.
I make a motion to approve it.
Great, I'll second that. And we can do a vote.
Director Colton,
Aye.
Director Richardson,
Aye.
and Chair Andrews.
Aye. Great, so motion passes and we can keep moving forward with better accounting services. I'm gonna turn it over to MEI to give us an update on their new staff person. Welcome, Angela.
Thank you.
Yeah, so as you all know, we had a
Can I
Sure.
just ask real quick that you make this, that you actually present the PowerPoint as opposed, because we're just seeing like the little slides.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just, like, the
okay.
Current slide, yeah.
Can you see it now? Is it better?
Yep, you just need to advance to the
Okay.
slide.
Oh, yeah.
All good, thank you.
There we go. Sorry about that.
So I'll let Angela talk a little bit about herself, but as you know, we had some staffing transitions last year. And ultimately had 3 people in this position in 2023. Angela's been with us for a couple of months now, comes with significant experience in the field and has demonstrated thus far that she definitely understands the sector, understands the region. So I look forward to a lot of the success and growing the St. Louis market as we have had hoped. And with that, Angela, I'll let you talk a little bit about yourself and what you'd like to do.
Thank you. I'm Angela Gordon. I have been in the energy industry for almost 40 years. I started out in the Rates and Regulatory Affairs Department of a utility and worked as an energy manager at the Railroad Exchange Building for May department stores for a number of years. I've been director of economic development for one of the water companies in the area. Most recently, I was with TRC, which is the administrator of the Evergy and Ameren energy efficiency programs for commercial customers. But I was the director of regulatory and legislative policy for the entire company. So I worked all around the United States, as well as the European Union on ESG, energy efficiency, and a number of other issues. My claim to fame is I have actually read the entirety of both the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act and the Inflation Reduction Act. At one point, I could actually quote sections of it. I've been in St. Louis since 1989, moved here when I married my husband, who is a Boeing. He recently retired from Boeing and is enjoying that. I am not ready for retirement yet. So I'm still working, but we have 5 children between us. Very proud of our children. 2 of the 5 have gone into the energy industry. One son is a national trainer for Unico, which is a HVAC manufacturer in Arnold. And my other son is a wholesale power purchaser on the Solar for All project and affordable block projects in Ameren, Illinois. So that's kind of an overview. I actually live in Freeburg, Illinois. But always worked out of St. Louis. So any questions? I'm very excited to be here. I think what I'm going to be doing with Josh is very important to the success of not just commercial businesses in the St. Louis region, but also in securing federal funding as we go forward, as those funds are distributed to Main Street. That's something that they do require matching funds, and that's something that PACE can actually help with. So excited about that.
Welcome, Angela, and I'm very impressed that you have read the entire Inflation Reduction Act.
Actually, that was only 200 and something pages. The Infrastructure Act is actually 1,036. But thank you. Okay, next. I forgot I was running the show. Here we go. Oh, there. This is the 2023 financial report that was sent to the state auditor. It was sent on February 1st. It was actually due at the end of the year. I blame myself for not knowing that. I should have been on top of that. But Josh jumped right on it and took care of it. And I think everything's okay. Josh, is that correct?
Well, I mean, working with city staff, we identified the oversight and submitted it. We have not heard anything from the state since we provided the report.
Actually, the state did respond. I'll send it out to everyone, but they said that it was received. That's all the email said.
Okay, great.
I'll forward it to everyone.
Great.
Go ahead, Josh.
No, I don't have it. Oh, so the only other thing here is the collection updates. We do have, we've collected about $4.8 million. There are currently a couple projects that are in delinquency, about $1.7 million. We have been in communication with the collector on those projects to obtain timelines for any actions that may occur, and are tracking them with Amerinet.
This was the last Set the Pace project that was completed in 2023. This is actually a record PACE financing project. The reason I've included this is because at this point, all PACE project case studies have been posted on the website. And so if you ever need to go back and look at a project that was completed as far back as 2015, they're all there. And you can get summaries and additional information off the website. And of course, if you have any questions, you can also request information from us. So we can provide that also. But I wanted you to be aware they were there. We have 3 projects in the pipeline. These are opportunities. These are not active projects in that we haven't received the final application for them. But these 3 projects have potential value of almost $40 million. Josh, do you have any insights here you'd like to share?
No, I think that you can see here we have both lender and market driven. And as a reminder, the market driven are those projects where they come to us without a capital provider. So it's always good to have one that is close and live, that is market driven. We do, hope and expect this number to grow over the year, but it's a good start for February.
Can you share any more information about those leads? I'm somewhat curious if you're seeing any projects come through that have to comply with the building performance standard.
Until we get certain information, we try not to go public with those, just because the contracts and term sheets haven't been signed yet. But if my recollection of these 3, none of them are within the are over the 50,000 square feet required to meet the building standards. Angela, is that my recollection similar to yours?
I am not familiar with the size. They're just now developing the alternative compliance plans, correct? And these came in before. I don't think it's tied to that, though I would like to see PACE considered in those plans. But I do not believe any of these 3 are specific to that. They're more, they want to do energy efficiency, or they're wanting to grow and then they want to implement energy efficiency with that expansion. That's what I remember.
Great, thank you.
This is our outreach for the last quarter. It began on December 7th with the Midwest Energy Policy Series, which focused on economic development. So of course, PACE representation was at that event. That was actually a very successful event with 90 attendees from around the state, but a lot of them were local, obviously, because it was held at Pulsanella in downtown St. Louis. Josh, do you have anything to add to that?
No, this is just an example. For those of you who don't know, right, MEI hosts a series. Our one on economic development is always held in St. Louis. PACE is either part of that event or one that we hold in Columbia, which it will now be on renewable energy and energy efficiency. So PACE is integrated into that. As you recall, last year we had a statewide PACE effort. I think the other things that Angela's going to talk about is, I think, what we're going to be focusing more on in 2024, which is the direct contact, less of entities coming to us and more going to them. But I'll let Angela talk a little bit about the two activities we had earlier this month.
Okay. And I actually have one more to add just from today. But the Industrial Assessment Center, on February 2nd, the Department of Energy released a federal funding opportunity announcement, basically saying that $400 million from the bipartisan infrastructure law was being released on a rolling basis. There's a rolling application process, but the next applications are due on March 1. And with this Industrial Assessment Center, which is based in the University of Missouri and does audits throughout Missouri and in many of the adjacent states. But basically, the BIL had $150 million to do more audits, but then it also had this $400 million pot to do implementation of industrial, small to mid-sized industrial upgrades. The grants are capped at $300,000, but they require a 50% matching funds to qualify. And so we talked to Dr. Kanar at the Industrial Assessment Center, and we're looking at opportunities to partner with them in order for them to do more audits and then bring those proposed projects over to PACE for the matching funds. That's kind of the thinking there. So we're developing some concept papers. I've sent them some materials. I've incorporated the Industrial Assessment Center into our PACE presentation. The other thing we're doing with the Industrial Assessment Center, this month they rolled out a new program where traditionally they've worked with industrial customers. But starting this month, they are working with large commercial buildings to do energy audits for free. And these are buildings that are over 50,000 square feet, that are commercial in nature, and that have higher than average energy consumption. So it's kind of what we used to see in retro commissioning projects, higher than average. Nobody really defines that per se, but if basically if you're qualifying for a alternative compliance plan, the Industrial Assessment Center might be a good place for these buildings to start. Okay, and if anybody wants some information on that, I have that also. So that's the Industrial Assessment Center partnership. I met with Malachi Rain, a great guy, and he invited me to be part of a financing energy efficiency upgrades presentation at the Missouri Botanical Gardens Education Center on February 6th. And I worked with the Spire and Ameren, Missouri representatives, and we gave a presentation, I believe, to about 12 to 13 people on various ways to fund energy efficiency. And it was really interesting because most of the people that were there thought I was with the PAYS program. PAYS stands for Pay As You Save, which is a utility program that they do on bill financing, but it's generally for residential customers or very small commercial. But so I was able to introduce new information to the attendees about PACE and what kind of projects PACE does and how it works. And then the last thing that happened was today I got a email from Anna, help me out here, Anna Coate, I believe, with the East West Gateway Council of Governments.
And a cut.
Anna Coate, okay. Yeah, when it's written and you're not sure of the pronunciation. Anyway, Anna was asking me about PACE because she wanted to include it in her draft climate pollution reduction plan draft. And we are including set the pace in the Missouri climate pollution reduction grant draft also. We've already, we submitted comments to that draft proposal, but Anna and I went back and forth today and I kind of explained some of PACE's services and how we fit into that whole funding mechanism. And so hopefully, and from what I see, Set the Pace will be in that plan along with some of the other PACE programs in Missouri. So excited that, you know, the more we can get the information out to people, the better the resources will be for St. Louis-based businesses. Any questions? Okay. Well, we're at the end.
If I can add a couple other things to the
Sure.
activity. So I've told you all in the past that as part of the federal funds coming down, the EPA's greenhouse gas reduction funds, and I had intended to create a revolving loan fund specifically targeting small commercial projects under 500,000, as well as rural projects. In that effort, MEI itself has been talking with legal counsel, contractors, and other entities to develop that program. But as a stopgap, we have communicated with our one of our premier capital providers that is willing to fund projects between 80 or 100,000 and above, and creating a existing PACE program, PACE Express model that would allow them to fund projects in that range, and to do so reducing costs. So creating a standard assessment contract that all the parties agree to up front, so there's not changing, so there's no legal fees. Identifying key opportunities or project components and limiting it to those, so it's more of a checkbox. So if you recall the way that the residential program worked, they couldn't find anything that wasn't inside their little box of projects. So an example, if it's under $500,000 for commercial, it is, 90% of the time it is just roofing, lighting, windows, HVAC, and solar. So if it's those five, we have a contractor who will do an audit for a significantly reduced cost. And that would allow us to save admin fees there, talking to the lender to then reduce their fees, so on and so forth, to allow these projects to then become a reality within our current PACE structure, even if we don't get the greenhouse gas reduction funds. So I'm happy to report that we've had 2 conversations. We do have initial underwriting standards that we are reviewing now. So my hope is that by the next meeting, we'll have a proposal for you all to consider a PACE Express model that will specifically target these smaller projects and in the city itself. And with that, part of what we've done for this specific area in the greenhouse gas funds and the IRA funds, with those funds targeting underserved, lower income, or Justice for 40 communities, depending upon how you define it. If you go to the PACE website, what you'll see is a map of all the jurisdictions that MEI serves, which includes St. Louis, the city of St. Louis, and Set the Pace St. Louis program, but then we've overlaid the Justice 40 communities with them. Our hope is that even if you're not using PACE initially. If you're looking for a Justice 40 community project, or to see if yours does fall within that, that can be a resource, which then opens the door for PACE to be part of the capital stack discussion that it may not have been in the past. So if you're aware of these projects and they're looking to see if they're part of a Justice 40 community, then that is a stepping stone to look at. So those are two things that we've done recently to move and expand the type of projects and increase the speed and decrease the hurdles for PACE in an area or a sector, I should say, that we have identified as a need.
That's great news, Josh. I mean, I think that small commercial, market gets left behind quite a bit, so this is exciting.
Great. Thank you.
Any questions for Josh and Angela?
I do. Is there a delinquency report that's been issued or published or anything you can send to the board?
It should be attached to your, it's like the second to the last page of the packet, I believe.
Yeah, it should be in the agenda.
Yeah. Second
It's
to the
your-
last page of the packet that you received. And the last page is the collections.
Sid, are you seeing that? Are you finding the information?
Give me 1 second.
So it looks like it's just 2 projects then that are delinquent.
Yes.
While Sid is looking for that, are there any other questions or discussion? I don't believe we need an executive session today.
We
So,
do not.
So that means our next quarterly meeting is May 8th. And unless there's any other questions, I will make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second that one.
Thank you. Do we need a roll call? You're good.
Just all in favor.
All in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
three.
We are
Thank you.
we are adjourned.
Thank you so much.
Great. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good rest of the day.